I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Alrighty, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast here for your Tuesday. Jaber went sloshing off to the bathroom in his wet shoes that you guys used for the punishment for Do It Bitch today. Had to do a shoe beer.
He sucked every drop of the fireball. He did a shoe shot, and I did a shoe beer. I didn't finish my beer. There was a little beer still left in the bottom, and he just put the shoe on.
Oh, no. There was still beer in it? You went kaboosh.
He's got 1 foot right now that is so freaking soggy. He's walking down the hall to the bathroom, the longest hall, by the way.
Right.
And he's got to sound like Swamp Foot.
Oh, he'll be back by the end of the podcast. There is nothing more that I hate than wet socks.
Oh, wet socks, wet shoe. Take me home.
It is. You're right.
We're done.
I'm over.
That's why at Mardi Gras, that is the one thing that we always have. Rain boots. You got to have them.
Yes.
You got to have waterproof footwear.
Yeah.
We cannot have wet feet.
Oh, it's the
Especially if it's
worst.
cold. If it's cold and you've got wet feet, take your ass home.
Yep. Bird is back from his tinkle and wet shoes.
Is 1 foot a little more damp than the other?
Yeah, it is actually. Want to get down to brass tacks? Yeah.
Yeah.
You sucked your shoe shot dry, but I left a little bit of beer in my shoe.
I could tell. But, hey, look, it's just a regular day at the old office.
Yeah, you know.
He's like, I'm powering through it.
This kind of way it goes, huh?
I forget all the weird shit we do, so it all kind of bleeds together. I'll forget this even happened today.
There is a memoir. I don't know if you guys have been following at all. It is from the girl from Royal Palm Beach originally, Virginia Roberts Squiffrey.
Yes.
It's a posthumous because she unfortunately took her own life.
We think.
Not long ago.
We don't know.
Yeah, I would say
It was crazy how it all shook down.
it was. I would say it is. I mean, yeah, I guess you absolutely never know.
You
but,
never know.
Her brother was there at the time. He was staying with her. I think he still lives in America. I don't know if he's in Royal Palm still or if he's moved out or what the situation is with all of them. But, yeah, I saw an interview with him this week because her memoir is coming out posthumously. And so, you know, he was talking about how he was there at her house, went to the door, and nobody answered. And he's like, oh, what the heck? Kept knocking on it and then kicked the door in and then found his sister. So... You know, I mean, if, you know, I guess somebody could have sneaked in. He didn't know about it.
They could stage it to make it look like a suicide. Ask Epstein.
I don't think we can. He's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're kind of going to get to the point, I thought, where maybe she'd be naming some names. Now, here's the whole thing. She names a name, and then, you know, they kind of back off of it. It seems like the only person that, and I wouldn't say they've come to justice, but they've had some cost, and that is Prince Andrew. In fact, just on Friday, he said he would stop using his Duke of York title. Ooh, what punishment.
What does that mean? Does that mean you're no longer a sir?
Yeah, he's just, they took his fancy name away, and now he's just a regular bro.
Yeah. So he's
not in jail or being punished or anything.
Right.
He's just, you can't have your fancy title.
He's not getting ultimate justice. I mean, his life is not as posh as it could have been had he not had that association. But he had already stepped down from public duties in 2019 after a disastrous BBC interview. He denied her claims, including a bizarre comment that he was medically unable to sweat. And people are like, what?
What?
So they kind of said, I don't know, this guy may be kind of weird.
There is sometimes you'll say something, you go, I don't know if that.
I shouldn't have said that.
I think that person's all off.
He settled her 2021 lawsuit in 2022 for an undisclosed sum, but part of that, he didn't have to admit any wrongdoing in it. So he's able to be like, and he had said, I don't remember ever meeting her. And so he's like, just one of these things where to save the royal family's name, I just am paying this to make it go away from a confused girl who has unfounded claims. So he's also going to be forfeiting his Knight Grand Cross and Order of the Garter honors.
What?
But remains a prince by birth. So I don't even know what any of that crap means.
It means nothing, Kevin.
Exactly.
It's just pomp and circumstance.
His ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, she also loses her Duchess of York title, but his daughters Beatrice and Eugenie, they keep their princess status. So, oh, wow.
There's a good interview with, you said Sarah of Duchess. Is that her name?
Sarah Ferguson.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. She does an interview. She allows people to come in and see her and how she's living after, I guess they kicked her out. And she stops the interview as well. She goes, you did not tell me you're going to, ask me this. Like, yeah, we did. We actually did. Stop the camera right now. Stop it. And then, it's good TV because, you're like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I heard he had some financial problems as well. So I don't know if that was brought on by the scandals or anything else. He just seems like he's kind of unhinged and he was the black sheep of the family and just making bad decisions. I don't think his mama before her passing was very pleased with her son either.
No, I don't think she was.
Yeah. Any real names, they are just kind of denying that they had any involvement. I would say probably the biggest name that Virginia Giuffre, other than Prince Andrew, called out, and this is another big name, but she called out former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. And it sounded like his stuff was violent.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Like a violent rape that had happened with that. Now, he is denying the claims that came out. She said it was back in 2002 on Epstein's private island that left her bloodied and terrified. And then when she begged for Epstein to help, he coldly replied, "This is part of your job."
Oh, no.
Yes. She said the attack shattered her belief that he cared for the girls that he trafficked. That's when she kind of really got to see the real Epstein. So he later sent her to the politician again aboard the Lolita Express. And she said it was less violent, but she was already traumatized by it. So that's a pretty big name, though, if you get a former prime minister of Israel. And then there's another name that has been thrown out as we try to put a spotlight on all of these people who need to be named. I don't know if you know Leon Black. He is a billionaire, and apparently he was one of Jeffrey Epstein's main sources of income. I know that he also had the ties to Les Wexner, who is with The Limited and so many other big companies in Columbus, Ohio, and had access to his palatial estate. It looked like something that one of the French kings used to live in.
Wow.
Is what he was staying in. Now, apparently, and listen to the money that Epstein had access to. He had paid Epstein around $150 to $170 million for financial advice. But then Epstein demanded more. He accused his staff of incompetence and even insulted this guy's children. He apparently advised him on taxes, art deals, estate planning, claimed that he saved Black up to $2 billion. So I don't know, was Jeffrey Epstein really good with finances? I think that's how he tried to legitimize his claims and his associations with some of these people that were very famous.
Was he really good at finances, or was he really good at blackmailing dudes once he had video of them sleeping with underage girls?
Mm-hmm. Now, this guy, Leon Black, continued paying even after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting of a minor.
Yeah, because he didn't want the videos to come out of him banging underage girls.
Mm-hmm. It said their relationship lasted 2 decades, with Epstein managing sensitive matters like secret settlements and tax maneuvers. And court documents even show that Black also sent money to women linked to Epstein. At least 3 were identified as his associates or victims. Black denies any wrongdoing. Sound familiar? He said
you paid victims and you're like, no, I didn't do nothing.
He said they were legitimate fees for financial work. But some of these girls, what kind of financial work would they do for you?
Exactly.
These were girls a lot of times came from broken homes. And, a little bit more in her memoir, Virginia Giuffre, that she had written, boy, she really kind of, put the smack down on her dad. And again, he denies everything. She claims that her dad sexually abused her when she was only 7.
Oh, man.
And he said, no, that didn't happen. And then the brother kind of said, the dad said the only reason I found out about the claims against Epstein was on the internet. But even Virginia's brother said, yeah, my dad would kind of come into money in weird ways. And then he would go buy a boat or something like that we were like, how's he afford this? And so it just seemed like in spurts, he would then go on this crazy spree with money that they didn't know that he had.
That's weird.
And he's trying to claim that he only found out about this. I mean, if somebody just decides to pen you a check for $50,000 or $100,000, you're not asking questions. Yeah. So that's kind of the stuff that went on. But, I mean, we're getting a few names here. This Leon Black. I mean, the only question, that's why it was so tragic and sad, not only that she lost her life, but Virginia Giuffre would have been needed, I think, to put a lot of these guys away.
Yeah, she would have. So look how convenient that she is now no longer living.
Yeah. Now, they say by 2015 to 2016, Epstein's emails turned hostile to Black, and he demanded $40 million per year. And he offered to accept real estate or art even as payment. They say that Black kept paying and even loaned Epstein $30 million, of which he only repaid $10 million. So
loan $30 million.
He can afford it, though. It says here his net worth is $13 billion with a B.
Yeah. He did get ousted out of Apollo Global Management in 2021. He later paid $62.5 million to the U.S. Virgin Islands to settle an investigation into Epstein connections. So you're just seeing bribe money, cash flying all over the place.
Don't say my name. Here's a big check.
Senator Ron Wyden's probe found $170 million in flagged transactions and payments to 8 women, raising suspicions of possible blackmail. Black maintains he knew nothing of Epstein's crimes and that all payments were for lawful advisory work.
I mean, it's so obvious that Jeffrey Epstein had videos of a lot of these guys, rich, powerful guys, banging underage high school girls.
We've got Prince Andrew,
Duh.
Ehud Barak, and now we've got this guy, billionaire Leon Black. Those are all pretty big names that all fit with what we had heard, fitting the criteria of princes, prime ministers, super wealthy people. 3 names. I have a feeling none of them will receive any true justice at all, ever. It's crazy,
I have a feeling you're right.
So, I mean, they talk about this list. We could have the entire list. I don't think he's going to come of it. What are they going to do about it? Because these guys are going to have high-powered lawyers. They're going to have their little spins, all that kind of stuff.
They're going to say, prove it.
And these guys, none of these guys are really dumb either.
No.
So you're trying to get people that knew about everything from government to conspiracy to cover-up and all these kind of things. They're masters of it, all these gentlemen.
And you can scratch big checks when you're worth $13 billion.
Yeah. In fact, I don't mean to use the word gentleman. None of them are, based on the claims that are here.
You meant it in a sarcastic,
I did. I just want to clarify that.
Fuck them, in quote, gentlemen.
I am not trying to put any respect on any of their names because I don't believe any of them. But I unfortunately don't believe that any of them will come to justice. So that's just too damn bad, isn't it?
It is.
It does suck, and you hope if there is another plane after this world, if there's another dimension of sorts, whatever you believe, you hope they get to answer. Because unfortunately, there are some people who get to die doing evil things, and they never, ever get brought to justice, and they just die a comfortable life. And it's so fucked up. So our human brains have to almost justify it in saying they're going to get their coming up, and they're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they certainly deserve the kind of ending that Virginia Giuffre got. Her ending was twisted, weird, odd, and effed up.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That was a weird month, her last month of life, and I don't even know how to make sense of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, she was just broken. You know, I mean, starting at the age of 7, if everything she said was true, sexually assaulted by your own dad at the age of 7, going through what she went by the time she was 14, 15, you know, she's over at Epstein, and clearly they cared even less for her than her own father did.
I mean, that's like some Jenny Gump shit. You know,
It is. Yeah.
It's
And it just
terrible.
breaks a person. Because, I mean, when you don't have a protector, when you're, I can't even imagine that. When you're a girl dad and you would dare do that kind of stuff to your girl, unbelievable. Now, there is another Epstein survivor, Lisa Phillips, and she is going on saying, you know, we keep talking about some of these names like Epstein, or you're throwing out Trump and stuff like that. But he said, you know, sometimes you focus too much on some of those names, and they're saying, hey, spread the love around, kind of like what we're doing right here, talking about people like Leon Black and other people along those lines, Ehud Barak. You know, she wants those names to come up as well. Here she is talking. This is Lisa Phillips.
Well, really, for me, it's just because people are so confused about what's going on. Not only us survivors are still confused, but like the transparency, like what is really going on. Everyone makes it about Trump and Epstein. Okay, maybe there's something there, and about Epstein, but it's about this whole ring of men. The only person in jail is Ghislaine, a woman. So where are all the other men that were benefiting and profiting from all of this? That's what makes me upset, because us survivors, we know that they were there. We saw them. We know that we're royalty, princes, very powerful people in academia and tech, and we saw them at parties. They knew what was going on. Why aren't they exposed? And people say, well, why are you speaking out now? Well, we're pissed off now because nothing has happened. And yeah, it's just a frustrating thing for me. So I'm at the point where it's like I'm at my wit's end standing on Capitol Hill. It was more just like, look, I'm not going to sit up here and just tell my sob story like everybody else is. We need to do something about it. You think you have the power? I mean, you don't think that we have the power too? You don't think that we understand what's going on here? So it was really just to say, you need to do something, because we also have the power to do something.
I hear what she's saying. I just, the more I see this go on, I think you could have the entire list, as we kind of are starting to read down with names. They're all going to deny. No one's going to face justice. And everybody keeps thinking if we have this magical list that it's going to settle everything. It's not. I think you could have the entire list with 150 powerful names on there. I'd be like, that didn't happen. Not me.
Yeah, I was on the plane, but I never touched any girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hung out with the guy, but I never did anything inappropriate. There's no videos of me. Prove it.
I swear, I'm not a lizard person.
Yeah. I don't think, unfortunately, I really don't think that anyone's going to come to justice on this.
Well,
I really
somebody took those tapes. Somebody took those tapes before the home on Palm Beach was raided. Did they get destroyed, or are they still out there somewhere? Because that's really the only way you're ever going to get any of these guys.
Yeah. Even then, I don't think that they'll come out. You're talking about these guys have billions of dollars. And if somebody does have them, what kind of really scrupulous person is going to get their hands on these tapes to be like, I'm going to do the right thing no matter what? And somebody be like, well, I've got a $5 billion check for you. No, I'm still going to do the right thing. I'm not going to take your billions of dollars.
I like your good Samaritan voice.
Somehow I came into these tapes. I've got all of them, and I'm just going to do the right thing.
That's an excellent tech guy that has the tapes impersonation.
But he's got.
How did this one scrupulous person happen to get with all these scoundrels and the world's worst people? How did he happen to fall into the tapes?
You're right.
But that's how he would talk. He has morals. He's a good person.
Yes.
You are not going to be getting these.
No, you can make it 20 billion. No, I'm still not going to do it. Come on, man.
You're right.
It's not. I feel so bad for all these. I feel so much. I really do. I'm frustrated for them. I'm angry for them. I feel what they feel, and I just I can't even imagine what they feel, because my frustration is going to be times 1,000 for them, and they're riding with all that emotion right now.
Yeah.
You know, what you feel, imagine times it by 1,000, and that's what they're feeling.
And then every day there's a story, and it's just insulting that we hear about this so much, but nobody's being punished except Ghislaine.
Well, for that billionaire to get ousted from his place, I think saying the names over and over again. Their life just needs to be really difficult to the point where nobody wants to associate ever again with any of these people. Anything that brings them wealth, joy, whatever, to be like, they need to be, you talk about cancel culture. If anybody need to be canceled, where they cannot find a place for peace, to go party, to spend their money, to enjoy their days, these would be the people to say, we know what you did.
We would hope that everywhere they go, they have uncomfortable encounters with people that know they are a dirtbag. But you and I know people with this much money are protected and insulated.
They are. But, the one thing it would be great to see is people of this kind of wealth. They have cliques and they have places that they go. Whether it be your Monaco's or some of these really nice places, it would be amazing to see all these places where the wealthy go and they want to hang out with them, to be in those cliques. If they all said, we're not taking your money.
You can't come here anymore.
You're not welcome here. And it would be great globally to see all those places of prestige where they have enjoyed luxury. I hope they can't even book a La Quinta. That's what to me would be amazing, to say, yeah, we're not taking your money. It's not happening here.
But people like that, they're spiritually depleted. They don't have any kind of spiritual side to them. And I'm not even talking about religion. I'm talking about just, a good spirit towards other humans. It's not in them. They
dark souls.
It is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
The spirit has been stomped down to a point where it doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's too bad, but we'll continue saying the names as they come up to get them there, because I hope a world of pressure goes on them. I don't think we'll ever see the justice, unfortunately, but whatever you can do to try to make their lives uncomfortable, it's at least a little bit. It's the smallest bit of penance that they can pay to people like Virginia. Now, a couple other things. Did you ever hear how much K-Fed was making from Britney Spears?
Yeah.
I also have the numbers of what he made from Popo Zao as his song from 2005.
Do you think he's a millionaire?
He should have been if he saved his money, but I don't think he saved his money, Kevin.
Does he have real estate? Because that's what could save him.
Well, he lives in Hawaii, which is, I believe, a lot of times it's referred to as the most expensive state in America.
It is.
I don't think anything in Hawaii is cheap. And he was getting $20,000 a month in child support, $20,000 for alimony, so $40K. I guess is what he was making.
The alimony dried up quicker than the child support, but he got the child support for many, many, many years.
Keep in mind, too, there are other things he got paid for that you would never know about, whether it be an appearance, whether it be an interview you never heard about. There's ways he could have made extra money that you would never know using his name, K-Fed.
Totally.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's something to brag about. Hey, I got to interview K-Fed.
And he's married to a chick who works. She's like, he don't have a job, but she does. She actually works in a university system in Hawaii. She got a job there. So she's bringing in money, and he's just full-time daddy.
Yeah.
That's his job.
They say, though, the total settlement isn't detailed. Past estimates place it between 1 to 1.3 million. I would imagine K-Fed's not even a millionaire, and I assume that's why he's coming out with the book that he's coming out with.
And he probably got paid for that book really well.
Tell-all books.
Do you think really well? I wonder.
Really well compared to what he had in the bank. When those child support payments dried up, I'm telling you, that kind of guy had spent them all along the way the entire time.
But does anybody fully believe K-Fed, that everything he's saying is legit and real? Or do you say, yeah, I don't know. You say that. Because, I mean, of course, Britney's denying about everything that he's said.
I think they're both, look, they're celebrities, man. And I think, like you said last week or someone did, both things can be true. Both can be fucked in the head.
Well, I don't know if you remember the reality show Chaotic, but I do. It was the show that Brittany and Kevin were filming of themselves. Mm-hmm. It was a reality show.
Yes.
They were on so many drugs. There was a lot of craziness. And when you're doing all that, You make poor decisions. You do stupid things.
If you already got mental illness and then you start to dabble and then deeply get into drugs, it is a fucking hurricane waiting to be not a category 5, a category 10.
You've got all the money. You've got all the fame. There's no conservatorship at that point.
You've got
You've got
people.
K-Fed,
Yeah, you got.
who is dying to not work a day in his life.
You can have anything the devil's playground offers. It can be to you just like that. And if you're not in your right mind and you're always fucked up, and I'm not saying that's what happened because I wasn't there.
It looked like they were always fucked up or chaotic.
You're talking about a situation. We're getting to a provocative situation at that point.
Can you create a non-existent mental illness through drugs? I have no mental illness whatsoever. I start doing an ass ton of drugs.
Yes.
I can bring on my own mental illness through that.
Absolutely. I know somebody that they did way too much acid and did way too many drugs, and it really did fry their brain. They were not at all the same person that they were after they went through a horrible bout of drug use.
Yeah.
They were, it did something to their chemistry. Now, I'm no doctor, and I'm sure someone will try to prove me wrong on that, but yeah.
From your own experience, you at least know one case. Yeah.
I know more than one case.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. That seems to make sense. I don't have any kind of, peer-reviewed proof over here, but it just seems logical. And I just wonder how much of Britney's issues have been self-inflicted.
Well, there are people that say, remember the Tequesta face eater?
Yeah.
That he was on a bunch of psychedelics and flipped out. And he had been doing them and a bunch of other stuff for months and months and months and brought himself to a psychotic place and then had a psychotic episode where he killed 2 people and they locked him up in a mental hospital. Okay, is he still there? Yes, he is in the mental hospital. But is he insane anymore, or did he sober up?
I think, I'm not sure if you know that entire case completely, because there are reports from weeks before of him having signs of delusion.
Yeah, because he was absolutely, I read all that. That is true.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he was on drugs. And
he was on both, I think. I think he was on drugs and delusion.
Yeah, and I think that's a bad combination. I just don't know if that's what was happening.
That's what I heard from somebody who's a cop off the record.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. I'm just saying that there's been reports of just sometimes you can almost see some certain signs of somebody starting to go through a psychosis. And whether that be by drugs, I think that absolutely can happen. But also, too, I think there's times where it could be just a psychosis you're going through because of your chemistry. And if you pair that with drugs, now, again, you have that hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of our KVJ Nationers had texted me, said, I saw this story, and it sounded like your hometown. It is on a show called Your Worst Nightmare, and this episode is called Horror in the Heartland. It's from 2014. And the summary says, 2 teenagers in love go missing from rural Ohio. 10 days later, they both turn up dead, brutally hacked to bits. The crime tears the small town of Logan apart and remains unsolved for 25 years until the shocking truth comes to light.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think that's the story I tell you about. So they're like, yeah, they made a special out of it.
It was definitely a satanic cult, or was it somebody in town that did it?
Like I said, because it's 25 years that went by, I moved out of town before they even solved it. It started off where the rumors were the bodies, because they hacked them 2 bits, and their heads were found in the river. There were some kids on the western side of town that were ramping their bikes, and they ramped over this hump in the ground they were getting some sweet air off of. And a leg came kicking out of the ground, and like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
That will get in the way of a good jump.
Yeah, it did. It kind of brought the bike gang to their knees. So they stopped their activities. And when they dug up the body, they said that the body parts were in the shape of a pentagram, the Devil's Star.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and we do, or our area is kind of known. We do have a lot of devil worshipers kind of up in the hills, a little hidden away. They got a place called Hanging Rock where they kind of do their blood sacrifices and charge up their sticks and all that stuff by the moon.
Now, it's on the license plate?
What's that?
Of the state of Ohio?
Yes, no, they didn't do that. They went with something about first in flight, I believe. But yeah, devil worshippers has a nice ring to it. So yeah, a lot of people thought it was the devil worshippers that came down out of the hills and committed those murders. Then there was reports that a bike gang, maybe Hell's Angels, had gone through town. Those are the first two things I remember as a kid. All I remember is being a fat youth. They canceled Trick or Treat that year, and I was heartbroken. It was rough.
That's not right.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. It ruined Halloween. We used to have Trick or Treat at night on a Friday night, always, and it was fantastic. And then they moved it to Sunday at like 10 a.m. It was terrible.
That just seems so weird and bizarre.
It was awful. Yeah, it wasn't the same. And then it was, I think, her stepdad, because he was a butcher. And they said, no, we think it was him. And he went to trial and all that kind of stuff. And everybody thought, okay, we solved it. And then after I moved away, they found out that what it was two guys. I think they were doing a lot of drugs and they were off of their marbles on it. And they just went walking through town all covered in their blood. And somebody saw it and reported it to the police, and somebody took a note and they put it on a desk and lost the note and forgot to mention it to anybody.
Man, I was eating a peanut butter sandwich and I think it got stuck to my fingers.
Small town cops, baby.
Shit, where'd that thing? I'm sure it wasn't important.
Yeah, so I think that's what they found out happened. Now I need to probably go watch the special to be sure, but that was the report I'd heard, was that they took a night and they just, oh man, you missed that note about the two guys covered in blood?
That's some Keystone Cop bullshit there.
Yeah. I mean, just very par for the course.
Damn it.
The same thing happened with the Adam Walsh case. They had some really good leads that, where did I put that lead at? I can't find it.
Boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy stuff. Therese, our ride or die in Pompano, she said, Kevin, last week you were talking about the quaintness of living in a small town. Yeah, quaint town with murder.
Pentagrams,
hacking teens to bits, quaint, lovely. Believe it or not, the resort town of Hilton Head, South Carolina was a lot like Logan, where everybody knew everybody and all the kids went to mostly the same school, thinking dirt roads and farms, no lie. Anyway, it used to be the talk of the town when new families would move in. Is that what happened when the guy moved into Papa Drew's house? Did he and the girl leave town when they moved out of your dad's house? Did the townspeople riot? Logan feels like a telenovela. Yeah, I don't know. Logan, and I think a lot of small towns are like that. You had the in-towners and the out-of-towners. So, half of the people you would live inside the city of 7,000, but a lot of the people live kind of out in the country. So there was a lot of that. I think they might have retreated out to the country. And in the country, that's where it's quiet and people don't want to be found. They want their peace and quiet. And so a lot of times if, you want to stay hidden and you want to do your stuff, you do that out in the country. And most of our other murders happen out there. I know there are two guys who run meth and they put each other in the wood chipper.
Do we
that
see
happen out in the country?
Do we see a commonality here with meth keeps coming up?
Well, that's in a sense when we talked about the drugs and can it bring you to mental illness. I mean, the two main murders that happened in my town, the wood chipper, I think was not even close to the original hacking, but yeah, we did horrific stuff. Usually drugs was behind it. And I was talking to one of our guys who was from a town where we had the basketball coach who was recording us in the locker room.
Yeah.
And went to this other guy's town. And he said, my town got wrecked by meth and drugs. And a lot of that hillbilly heroin stuff, really, in some of those small towns through Kentucky and West Virginia really got ruined by that stuff. And it messed up people. I don't think a lot of people, when you get on that stuff, I don't think you ever come back the same.
Think about it. When you're doing that stuff, you're not sleeping. So now if you go on a meth run, you're on day 4 or 5, you are on meth and you haven't slept. So you get delusions and paranoia and you think you're seeing shit and people make some bad mistakes and then they come down from it when they get arrested and realize, oh shit, what have I done? Kind of a thing. But that's because they've gone on a bender.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what it was, I think the one guy put the other guy in the wood chipper, but I think he went a little too far when he was putting it in because he's on drugs,
And he fell into it.
I think he kind of got sucked into it too.
Damn.
Oh, man, it's so close.
Well, you know what? You don't really want to be careless with wood chippers, I found. You kind of want to have your wits about you, kind of know what you're doing.
Maybe don't do a bunch of meth.
Also, don't murder people, too. I think that would be.
Well, when you put your friend in it, or the guy that you're fighting with in it, and then you immediately fall into it, that's pretty much karma.
Right, yeah. Now, Jeremy said, I was listening to the show, you were talking about the ghost in Jay Bird's house. How much of a donation of Little Smiles would it take to have Virginia stay one weekend alone at Bird's house?
You better back up the zeros.
Yeah.
Alone in the ghost house?
Yeah.
Ugh. I would not be into it for less than like $2,000.
$2,000? Okay.
To stay at my house?
Alone.
With nobody there but me and your ghosts.
Man, work with a bunch of pussies.
You're definitely a lot more comfortable with the paranormal than us.
Yeah, he loves having ghosts around. I do not.
I do wonder, when I was a child, I did have a couple imaginary friends. And thinking back, I wonder, were they imaginary friends just in my head? Or was I seeing shit and talking to people?
Did you have a ghost back then?
His name was Don.
How old were you when this happened?
I would say I was like 5 or 6. It was Don, and it was another. Don was a man who was probably in his mid to late 40s, slick back hair, wore a turtleneck.
Sounds like a pedo.
Yeah.
It does sound weird, but it was a black turtleneck, and he'd always be in the wall.
Yeah.
In the bathroom, and then there was Bebo Y, who was more of a creature. But was I just,
From what I've heard with the stories, it's typically kids up until around the age of 4. They have a lot of very odd documented cases, and these are the ones that I love, whether it be past lives or spirits. And these kids will sit and tell you stories about either who they're seeing as a spirit or something that happened, they believe, in their past life. And they've gone back and they said, there's no way this kid would know this. Kid can't do research. Kid wouldn't know the names. And it checked out. There's some unbelievable documented cases where you're just like, how the heck did this happen? Even if you had trained and coached the kid, would the kid be able to rattle off with such great detail? As a parent, you would have to do your own research and be like, okay, get this right. You were here. Here was your best friend. This is what happened. And in some instances, they had gone to the family to try to get confirmation in some of these stories. And they're like going, yeah, we didn't know anybody even knew that. So there's some really fascinating documented cases on that. So, yeah, I mean, at your age, who knows? You've always been drawn to the otherworldly stuff. So it could have been.
I do wonder, because it's not like it was something that was. I remember what Don looks like. Like I could, if I could draw his face, I would, but I'm not a good drawer.
But yet you still try.
I do. I love drawing.
So much art.
And Virginia's got something dark and mysterious in her house as well, but it's called mold. An anonymous email said, Virginia, you may have a covered insurance claim. If the leak was hidden behind the wall, your policy may cover it, especially considering you acted fast to mitigate the damages. Just check your policy to see if you're covered. If it's the whole house, they may cover everything except for the plumbing.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, stuff you need to know.
The mold cowboy will be back at my house today at 3:00.
Now,
Is that what they call him? Is that his thing?
That's what I'm calling
That's
him.
what you're calling him. Okay.
What if you had an old cowboy ghost at your house?
Stop putting your ghosts in my world.
Oh, I told Virginia she had something in her house once.
No.
She didn't want to accept it.
I had my place saged.
Yeah, but you had it saged after we had a talk.
There was a sketchy story. So the lady that I bought the house from, some of the neighbors told me that she was downright cruel to her ailing husband who died in that house. Like, she was mean to him. Like,
Well, Virginia, what did he do?
What did he do?
I'm sure he deserved every bit of it.
Kevin, he never took out the trash, and he was always getting in the bushes.
no, I think he was just old and sick.
Okay.
But she didn't treat him right, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
she didn't treat him with love and care. People could hear her screaming at him, and the old guy was bedridden.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked
It
up.
is.
But did I not tell you out of the blue you have something in your house, and then you admitted to me that you felt like there was something in your house? Did that not happen?
That did happen.
Okay. I rest your honor.
So you all live in haunted houses.
No, mine's clean now.
She didn't want
Except
to
for the mold.
She didn't want to accept.
My shit's clean.
I was like, Virginia, you got ghost girl.
Molly, you in trouble, girl.
They say almost 20% of Americans believe they've lived in an actual haunted house at one point.
Yeah.
1 out of 5, basically.
The number's grown. I think people have... Look, if you've had an experience, you understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you think I'm batshit crazy or a liar. And I understand that as well.
There can be ghosts and you can be batshit crazy. Two things can be true.
The balls on her.
If you found out that your home truly was haunted, would you leave it, Virginia?
No, I would try to get rid of the ghost.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, where am I going to go?
Yeah, they say 74% of people who found out they were living in a haunted house didn't leave immediately. I said, well, let me see if I can write this out.
I mean, if it turns violent
Yeah.
or really nasty, then I think we would have to consider leaving. But, you know, I just felt like there was a sad energy in the house. I felt like there was like a sadness, and then I would just like see things out of the corner of my eye. And it wasn't ever like I was scared of it. I just kind of felt like a weird vibe.
And it gets complicated because there's a lot of different types of ghost-like activity. There's a major difference between possession and having ghosts in your house. Possession is rare. When a ghost or a demon or whatever you want to call a dark energy takes over your soul and you are talking like that, that's not a common thing. Most of the time, it's spirit trying to fuck with you. Now, you can have evil ghosts at your place. They're not just going to take over your body, but they will fuck with you. They will wake you up while you're sleeping. They will try to grab your blanket. They'll make noise. They'll try to manipulate things. And that's different than a demon.
What about people that kind of out of nowhere do something uncharacteristically violent? Some people believe that might be a form of possession.
I have thought about that before. When somebody just does something crazy and wild and squirrely and they hurt somebody, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh no, what did I do?
Their eyes aren't black, their voice is like, but they just do something like, well, where did that come from?
I think that there are certain people that have rage within that they are very good at hiding, and it lays dormant, and they know it's there deep down, and they just haven't been, they weren't pushed to that edge yet, but it is there like a volcano. I think that's a real thing. But something, if you look back into their story, I guarantee you're going to find something that links to that.
So you don't think that it was just like a temporary devil possession?
I think that's rare.
Okay. Well, you
It's
can tell
fascinating.
It is.
It could explain why people just do like a terrible, horrible thing.
But a lot of times, if you really
Unexplainable.
But if you do the research on it, sometimes the answers are usually there, and people don't want to do the research. They want to just think it's a possession. But sometimes, someone's been on drugs, or somebody has, someone had a horrific childhood that they never talked about.
Well, possession and drugs do pair nicely.
Yeah, I think the devil loves cocaine.
They call it his dandruff.
Yeah. And could it be that you're not possessed, but maybe your awful act was influenced by a demon that whispered in your ear, gave you the thought,
do it,
played up on everything that was going south for you? Maybe you're tired, maybe you're whatever, and they just
choke him.
Yeah,
he lost. Do it, bitch. Again, choke him.
Yep. He choked in the game, choke him in life.
Oh, you would be the most fucking annoying ghost ever. If
I die first, you bet your ass I will annoy the shit out of you.
You just feel Virginia's hot breath on your neck and be like,
Hey, babe.
Go away, devil.
Oh, it would be so fucked. I would take 30 demons over one regular Virginia ghost.
Yeah. Imagine all the things she'd be telling you to be. I don't know why I'm drinking so much.
Yeah, I go,
Drink this.
where the fuck is my liquor at?
You look thirsty. Have another. Go away, devil. Go away. All right, we always appreciate the emails. You can get them through to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.